What does that mean?
You
My dad
lying
is
now.
Mexican too.
No, he's not.
My dad black as fuck. Well, was black as fuck.
Prove it. Let me see a picture of that nigga.
Yeah, she about to pull it up.
I'm about to pull it up too because you be trying me.
Ain't no way your dad is dark skinned.
Yes.
Hemp, you know black people can make any shade. I don't know where you from.
I know better than anybody.
Oh, that daddy chocolate.
My dad look like Pops. Look at that.
Nah, he the same color as Adrian.
Who, my pops?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he do.
Word. But Mary, your shit ain't gonna lie. You got a wet finger wave right now.
I just went to shower, my nigga. That's why.
So your shit get kinky?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Your dress gonna look like white people dress. You seen them before?
It's not. No, it's not.
Yeah. Where your whoa. Where the fuck your lashes at?
Put him in the fucking bed. Get him. Put him in the fucking bed. Put him in the fucking bed.
Mary said, "I'm natural today."
You got one job, bro.
You sound like my husband. Listen.
Yeah, man. Every time I see you, I expect to see them lashes, man. I don't like that shit. You being lazy, man.
No, I got a lash appointment tomorrow.
Or
okay.
That's what's up. Why do ladies go get their shit threaded? That shit like it hurts. You ever seen that?
I know how to thread. I got trained to do that because it comes out more precise.
Nate, come on, my nigga. You don't know how to do it. Hold on, Nate. You don't know how to do everything, yo.
No, I did. I worked at Brow Bar Studio.
But everything I named so far, you know how to do.
No, I worked at Studio Brow. I got pictures to confirm it.
You know how to do twist. You know how to braid hair.
Yes, I do.
You know how to twist locks.
I do. I started my own.
You know how to thread eyebrows.
I know how to thread eyebrows. Yes, that's
what
I did.
Do you know how to put on lashes?
No.
All right. At least you finally was honest.
And I did know how to do that. It comes out way more precise though with threading.
Word. That shit looks weird. What's up, Alex?
Hey, Hemp. How are you?
Hold on.
No, what you about to say now? Let me say my hello, my greeting. Hello, Hemp. How are you?
Don't get to leaning on your hand like Isha and all that.
I'm here.
Nah, man. You tired?
I'm always tired.
From what?
I'm ready.
Are you pregnant?
No, I'm not. We had this conversation already. Don't do that.
Who asked her that already? Oh, Mary.
Yeah.
Mary, is she pregnant?
No.
Yeah, she said she was pregnant because her nose was shiny.
Oh, yeah.
It's my cocoa butter.
Listen, her nose has been shiny since we was like 12, my nigga.
It's been like that.
Yeah, man. Because Mary knows somebody pregnant, as many kids as she got. She know. Adrian know too. You got a lot of kids. Is she pregnant, Adrian?
Trying to say you got the glow.
Yeah. There's one bacon in there. There's one bacon in there.
Damn, man. That one is gonna never come outside. Adrian, how you, man? How's the week so far?
Man, the week been good, man. The week been good. How you holding up over there?
Doing the right thing, man. Just busy.
Why he the only one that get the regular greeting? Like,
huh?
Right, at all times.
He the only one that don't get no jokes. Like,
because he's an upstanding citizen, man.
He is the bro code.
He has very good decorum on the panel, unlike Mary, who overtalk and drown people out. You know what I'm saying?
That's not me. That's not me.
It's who
was it, Mary? Who was you about to say?
Mary, please
I don't
stop.
talk about people when they're not in my presence.
Oh, okay.
Who is that? Q, what up, though?
What up, baby?
I see you got a new setup. I can dig it, man. Oh shit, Mary. I mean, Nate, yours is nice too. I know it's new. My fault.
Yeah.
I forgot about this shit.
Yeah. Man, he gonna try to play me talking about I don't know how to play keyboard.
You don't.
I know like one song.
That keyboard got
enough.
That keyboard got dust on it, man.
It do, but that's.
Hey man, this might be risky, man. We glad to be back, man. Oh no, we didn't miss last week, right? We was here, right?
Yeah, Q just ducking me though. You know what I'm saying? Q ducked me last week. But it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm here today. You feel me? Let's go.
Alex missed last week and shit. You know what I mean?
Nah, I was here.
Oh, you were? Oh, you fucked the day up. Oh, yeah. I mean, we had to switch the date because of you and shit. How was your girls' trip?
It was good. I had a good time.
I did see a baby in the photo, so I guess you snuck a baby in there somewhere.
One of my goddaughters, yes.
Oh, word. This might be risky. We here. Listen, man, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Do me a favor. Do us a favor. Hit the like button right now and share the channel. Share the live stream. About to get into it, man. All right. First topic. Let me just share this photo real quick. So, did y'all see this? What is it? Did y'all read about this? Y'all heard about this? Anybody? What's the background on it?
About it?
How long they been together? A while, right? Yeah, guys. When I put this on the podcast, if you nod, they can't fucking hear you.
Some years they've been together. Him,
Like,
Thank you, Q.
like 14, 15 years, something like that.
Alex, no, she know.
Alex,
Damn.
is okay to just breathe into the mic and nod. Don't listen to him.
Nah, but she do know. Alex be on all of that stuff.
She never missed an episode of Sister. How many years?
So they've been together. They've been married 14 years.
Yep, see? 14 years.
So,
But I think they were together 8 years prior to that.
Yeah, like 21 years or something like that.
Yeah.
word.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So it says Corey Hardrick. Blindsided by divorce, didn't cheat, not sure why Tia wants to end it. So I just want to get, well, here's the question I posed, but you can feel free to answer, as you deem. But do modern women champion marriage anymore? The idea of marriage anymore?
Why do it always gotta be about women? Like, why are we always doing this? Why it can't be through men?
Hold on. Hold on. I feel like in Hamp defense, he always say, "What questions do y'all have?" And y'all never bring up no questions about men. He gives y'all the opportunity to bring up the questions, but y'all never do.
Okay.
Oh, you just gonna eat that? Okay, Mary.
Thank you, Mary, for your honesty.
That's your first and your last A+.
But what you think, Alex?
Like, all right, you got it.
Do modern women champion the idea of marriage anymore? Is it coveted like it used to be?
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
no, because if I say something, you're gonna be like, just answer the question. Oh no, you gotta have an answer, but I don't know. Maybe if you worded it. Give me some context for the question.
So he didn't cheat, right? There's no infidelity. He didn't even know why she left, but she left.
Now I don't believe that he didn't know why she left. He probably wasn't listening to when she was sharing her concerns and her feelings. And then people always want to say it didn't come out of nowhere. It did not come out of anywhere. I don't believe that for a second, not for a moment.
Is it possible? Do modern women leave for boredom nowadays?
Not necessarily.
I don't think they do as much as men do.
I think it's kind of like what Alex just said. If your needs are not being met, and she's probably vocalized it, and he's not listening.
They've been together for so long.
Yeah.
So it's his fault.
Can we get to that? Can we talk about that?
You're not. It's not your turn, Mary.
Exactly what the screen say.
Now you know what's so crazy.
Go ahead.
During the introduction, I just said what I say about Mary.
I talk in the breaths, okay?
So Nate, what were you saying? Is it his fault then?
I don't necessarily think. Well, I can't really say it's his fault. I think he probably wasn't listening. She more than likely vocalized what she was feeling, and he's not listening. I mean, they're growing apart. She's in a different space. Like if you look at her social media, she seems like she wants to be in a different space in life, and he's used to who she once was, and she's probably trying to vocalize, okay, this is the space that I'm in now, and he's not willing, or just maybe not listening. But I don't know if necessarily is his fault. I don't know. That's hard.
What space is she in on social media?
The space she's in right now, she's thriving in her businesses. She have her Spice by Tia. I'm waiting for my merchandise to come in. She does a lot of cooking stuff. You know, she's being a mom, obviously. I'm not sure she's really doing like the acting stuff, but like she's just different. I think she's more in tune with her kids, probably more so now because she's stepped away from the acting world in a sense. And he's kind of doing that now. Maybe they're just in different spaces in life. I don't know.
Wait, so she's being a mom and they're going further apart?
I'm saying that's one of her roles. She's a mom. So that's one of her
He's
roles.
always been in one or two movies every 2 years.
You said her?
Him.
Yeah, but I don't think she's really doing much acting right now. I think she's just focusing on motherhood.
Neither is he, nor has he ever.
No, he's in something. I saw something.
Yeah, I know something. There's always something he's in.
I don't follow him.
I think what Miss Nay is speaking to is like attracts like. So when they were both in the same space, in the same arena, doing the same thing, they were the closest. And now that they seem to be doing two separate things and going in two different directions, there's the split.
Yeah, not that that's a bad thing. I think it's just maybe she vocalized that and he's not really hearing. He's just expecting her to be the Tia that he once knew.
So he doesn't like her because she's being too much of a mom and a wife in a historical sense.
That is not what she said.
No.
Well, I'm trying to figure out because
at all.
Well, I'm trying to uncover it because he does the same one or two movies, right? He's never the lead. He was just in this movie called The Outpost from 2 years ago, and he died in the motherfucker. So, like, what? I'm just trying to understand. Help me out, Mary.
Okay, so
Mary was waiting for that.
Mary.
No, so my take on it is, of course, you know, straight to the post, exactly what the post said. I feel like people, like I had said previously, people focus on the factor of not cheating, that's always the deal breaker. It's not the deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? They point out, oh, he didn't cheat. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? And what Nay was kind of going around is the fact that they're growing as individuals. And sometimes my take on men sometimes is they're one track minded. You know what I'm saying? Like their mind goes one way a lot of times. And it's just, this is the start. This is the end. I don't see nothing else outside of that. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to being with somebody for so long, somebody can be telling you something, showing you all the signs. I don't believe for one bit that he was just oblivious to what was going on. You've been with this girl over 20 years. You weren't oblivious at all. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like he kind of just accepted how she was changing, but not addressing it to her, maybe directly, like, hey, what's going on? Things are kind of different, blah, 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 blah. But I think back to like a conversation we had before, I feel like she was just finding herself, like more so into herself and who she is, that she lost touch with who she was to her husband, who she was with her spouse, because she could have molded her life completely around her husband, which a lot of people do. Mold their life completely around their family and lose themselves. And at one point she could have realized like, hey, like this is not what I want to do until I die. You get what I'm saying? Like there's so much things going on in this world. Like this is not what I want to do. Let me focus back on me and center myself around me and see what happens from there. And with her focusing on her, maybe she did kind of lose balance with him, whether he became more distant and focused on himself and what he's doing, and they just kind of separated that way. But I definitely don't think that it had anything to specifically do with marriage. I don't even think something like that you can just be like,
Mary, you filibustering. So question, Nay point contradicts yours because Nay's saying that she's doing more stuff for her family via her Instagram.
Her kids, but that surrounds herself. Her kids, she's talking about Tia herself, which is she's a mom. She likes to cook. She likes to do this and that and all that. That's shown on Instagram. It's more so showing towards herself and what she's doing herself. That's still, you're still a mom. Your mom, being a mom is still a part of who you are more than anything.
But it's not about you though.
It still is about you. Being a mom is you.
But it's not about you though, right?
But it is. It still is about you.
Being a mom is about you or is it about the kids?
What you do with the kids, how you're involved with the kids. That's still you. It's not like you in a relationship with somebody. I feel like that's a completely different type of life, love, whatever the case may be, from your kids that make you who you are in a sense.
I have to disagree there. I think that those are all titles. I think mom, wife, lover, I think all of those are titles. And then there's who you are outside of those titles.
That's true. But she's still, with Mary's point, she's trying to find herself within those titles.
I feel like when you have young kids, like you're still like so much of you is still like you can leave your relationship. You can't leave your kids. Like so much of who your kids are is still attached to who you are. Like I watch certain things that I do because of my kids. That doesn't mean that I'm not being like, myself.
That's another, I have to disagree with you again, Mary. Because I think when you are married, leaving is not as easy of an option as it is if you're not married. I think when you're married, that commitment is almost synonymous to the commitment that you have when you have kids. Like it ain't no fucking leaving. That's a marriage.
I'm glad you look at it that way. It's not a bad way to look at marriage.
Like if y'all if all the shit they going through now, they should have got that shit out the way before they committed in that way. Fucking figure it out.
But again, we don't know what they're going through. They could be in two different spaces in life right now, and she probably communicated it.
Yeah, so go sleep in another room until you figure it out.
And they probably did that. They're just now saying it. They're announcing it.
Why are you saying that she did all the right things and he didn't listen?
Yo, did you notice that every time
it could have been? I don't know.
Did y'all notice that when they both started, it started off with what the man did wrong? Like nobody's initial thought was maybe she wasn't communicating effectively. Right when they first jumped on, she probably communicated and he wasn't listening. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's instantly always put on us like first by default. Mary, you was on both sides of it, but the initial is always like the man. Did y'all peep that?
You're right. The post putting it on her, so I was just saying it in her. The post was already on his side, so I was defending her in a sense.
Yeah, I don't think you blindsided.
But I feel like to Hamp's question is the idea of marriage champion. It's not. And the women who want to do it, they want to do it because they don't understand, like they just want it, right? We know how the majority of women are taught like you have to be married, have the family, so they want it until they're actually in it. But they want it for the wrong reasons. Marriage is not built off of purpose anymore, right? Even back in the day, it still served a purpose. Now, not a purpose that I agree with. So I realized people stayed together just because it worked, since the man was working and the woman took care of the home. So they kind of had to do it based off of roles. I feel like that marriage should be based on a purpose even greater than roles, right? So like, what is the purpose of us coming together? Because again, I feel like marriage is bigger than just the two of us, and purpose exceeds love. Remember when we had that conversation and I'm like, love is not the main thing for marriage. And the reason why marriage is in, because they base it off of love and feelings. And then when those love and feelings change, according to Q, do what's best for you. And it's and that's good for everybody. Right. I love you so much, Q. So glad you're here. So, but that's why, like, the purpose of marriage is, it's not it. They do it based off of feelings. So it's not championed anymore. Men aren't, one of y'all, I think it was Nate, somebody said something about with the men, but it's not the men leaving, it's the women leaving because they're getting themselves into something either with somebody, either one, they don't know themselves fully, two, they don't know the person who they are marrying fully, three, they don't have a solid foundation or purpose for getting married. They don't understand those dynamics. So then they enter something based off of something that's unstable and shaky, like feelings, like having fun. They have no idea what a divorce does, right? Like, I've been through a divorce. It's like, it's worse than death, right? Because it's literally something that's dead, but you still have to see it. You lose a loved one, you don't have to see them no more. So it's just the healing. You get a divorce, I still had to drop my kids off to my house where another man was and then dip out, right? That's still affecting my girls from one want to come with me, the other one want to come with the other person, right? But because we making all of these decisions based off of how we feel, and there's no moral standard, no consistency in which, okay, this is the reasons why we need to do these things across the board, it's going to continue to be where it is now, where it's not championed anymore and it's not valued.
Okay, are you saying that now men champion it more and men know themselves more, which is why they're not the ones filing for divorce? Because you said that women may not know themselves.
Right, men don't file for divorce most of the time.
Are they not filing?
We lose so much in a divorce.
Are they not filing for divorce because they're complacent? Because to Mary's point, how she said men can be very one-track minded, and is it seeming like it's coming blindsided because they're not paying attention to the other things that the partner is going through or what's being said? Because they're so.
No, we're not doing it because we're committed. You know what I'm saying? If I say I'm going to marry you and I'm going to take care of you, it doesn't mean I'm always going to do everything right. But what it does mean is I'm not going to leave you.
But is that healthy though?
Yeah, I'm not going to treat you well.
It's a foundational point. So you definitely need more things in order to make a marriage successful, right? But if one leaves the marriage, it only can be destroyed if somebody leaves.
No, that's not true.
How is that not true? It only ends if somebody leaves.
You can be married to someone, but doesn't mean that you are an active participant in that marriage, right?
But you're still married. The marriage only ends. It's no way the marriage has a chance of getting better if you leave it.
There's no way
to get better. You can have 10 bad years, and then year 11 it get better. You can have 15 bad years. Year 16 it'll get better. But if you leave before that, it's no possibility of getting better if somebody leaves.
But you vocalize it and you separate so that y'all have time and space.
If you're complacent,
we're talking about a divorce.
But if you're
before it gets to divorce,
right before you get to the realm of officially saying on paper we are legally separated, we are divorced, right? And if that man is just saying, well, I'm in it for the long haul, even if it's maybe not the healthiest, I'm just going to sit here and ride for this 10, 15 years, even though it's bad, because it's what I feel like I'm supposed to do. Well, that's not healthy.
But you would have figured that out before marriage. And I think I have to speak in defense of the guys on this one. Y'all make sure this is recorded because this is historic right now. When men, in my opinion, and this is based on all anecdotal experiences and the guys that I've talked to, men in my family that I've been very close to growing up and etc. When they marry, they play for keeps because men automatically are not as emotional as women. So they're not just going to ask anybody to be their wife. So to Adrian's point, they're typically not the ones that are going to file for divorce or walk away from that marriage. Because when they are asking you to marry them, I don't give a fuck if this nigga's fucking 60 other bitches. You have his heart. He's not going to ask that of just anybody, typically.
But he loves you, but he's going to cheat.
Right. It's not healthy.
Okay. But for her, right? So we're speaking to them walking away, right? Because that was a question. Do men not know themselves and things? A nigga's not just gonna marry anybody. He'll be with a woman for 30 years and not marry her before he just marry her. You know what I'm saying? So, but to that point, to answer Hamp's question entirely, I think that modern women champion the wedding more than they champion the marriage. And I'm speaking of marriage in the context of that commitment. And I'm also speaking again from anecdotal experiences as a divorcee of a woman who at a certain crossroads did file for divorce against me. So I was the one who was calling for marriage counseling. I was the one who was trying to make it, because when I married, I didn't believe in the concept of divorce. Like, we're gonna run this shit to the fucking wheels fall off, and when it fall off, we're gonna push the motherfucker. Like, that's me. So to have had that happen, and then when I go into the courtroom, you see more women in there as the plaintiff than fucking anything. And you just see these men being dragged through the system for some shit that they didn't want to really be a part of that process. So yeah, I don't think that modern women really value marriage as much. The wedding, yes, I think if you go on Instagram and different places, you see everybody trying to get the wedding together, or either getting married and they're showcasing the wedding. But that marriage part is crucial. And I think that to that point, 14 years of marriage, you're going to figure out that very early on that those big issues should be resolved before you ask that woman's hand. Outside of that, within marriage, you grow apart and you come back together. You grow apart and you come back together because you're constantly going to go through those different phases. And I think going into it and not understanding that may determine if y'all end up in divorce court, but that's just pure ignorance at that point. That's why I always admire when people are like, oh, we've been married for 40 years. Oh, so he the fuck bitches in between and y'all grew apart. That's beautiful. And you just see them kind of sit there in silence like she gets it. It's not perfect and it's not easy, but marriage, like if I ask somebody to marry me, I'm sleeping on the couch after that. Like, fucking, you got to figure it out. So, yeah, I don't, to answer your question, I don't think that they value it or champion.
We're on the outside looking in.
I got
we
a question.
Know if they've separated and they're just now filing for divorce.
Well, that story was just to provide like a lead into the question. So we don't need to focus on them, but the point is he didn't cheat, right? That's what was said, but she left anyway. So that's why it conjured the question, are modern women just like, is marriage like a trophy or like a goal like it used to be?
A question. So in regards to, the whole modern women champion marriage or whatever, ultimately, it's not up to us if we marry somebody. So are the men less aware of how the woman is that they're dealing with?
The women always choose.
The women chooses, but to get married, me personally, I'm not asking a man to marry me.
Right, but the fact that he could even ask your hand in marriage or fuck with you or date you, you chose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
are you saying yes or no? It's your choice.
To marry them, but it's to me, it's just like, it can't be put on just the women and how they act in the marriage and things like that when you took your time to even ask me. So you should know at that point too, the ups and downs that can happen, the in and outs that can happen and things like that, and how they come across.
Right. I'm sorry. I thought I said right, but if you think about when we're asking you, we're saying, hey, would you be with me for the rest of my life no matter what? You say yeah. So I'm still, that's the question, right? You say yeah, but then you go against that because now you left. When initially you told me, when I asked you to marry me, that you would be with me for the rest of my life, richer or poor, sicker, all of that other stuff. And now you're reneging on it. I'm not reneging.
Now the nigga got MS, he in the wheelchair, and you talking about I can't do this no more. That's not right.
I still think that she probably did say something, and she's like, "Listen, I'm just saying." She probably did vocalize it. We don't know. I'm not saying I'm a champion for the divorce, but I think that you should definitely speak about what you're feeling.
Wait. Let me ask Nate one question. Yeah,
what's up?
So if you keep saying we don't know, what are you using to make that the reason? Because you're stuck on the point that she vocalized it and he didn't listen without no evidence to say anything.
No, I'm saying I don't
all.
know. Maybe she
right,
did. I don't know.
Right, but why is that your one conclusion though that you keep going to if you don't know?
Because that could very well be it. If he didn't cheat, then again, what could it be?
But I think that sometimes women set too high expectations in a relationship, where it's like, I'm gonna come into this thing, and when issues arise that pertain to me, your job is to fix them. So I'm gonna vocalize what my problem is with you, or what my problem is within the marriage, and your job is to fix it. And I think that's an unfair, type of thing. I don't think it works like that. I think that within a marriage, you have to still remain individuals. And so this concept of it's like, okay, now I'm not happy. He's supposed to help fix my unhappy. Like that. No, that's some inner work.
But that's just like anything else with men. They'll cheat and risk their marriage over, maybe I feel like you gained a few pounds, or maybe, you know what I mean, something, you dealing with something, whatever you're going on in your mental, and you making me uncomfortable, so I go lay up with somebody else just because at the moment that make me feel better. Like, it's all,
you probably married a female then. So that's some bitch shit.
and that's not true. When men cheat, it literally has nothing to do with the woman that they're with. It don't matter how bad she is, how much weight she has. Like 95% of the time, it literally has nothing to do with the person that they're with, unless it's like you just not giving him any at all. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's probably about something different.
Yeah, because most niggas side bitches look crazy. So I mean, yeah, that's some bitch nigga shit. If he like, oh, you gain weight, but she look better, I'm cheating. Like, no.
So it seems like it's always on the men. Is that the sentiment? Like,
no,
in life, in relationships,
because women be cheating, boy.
I think it takes two. I think it's both.
I know, except for when I asked the question explicitly, it's easy for you to say no. But when you're answering questions on the panel, the men are usually implicated, right? Like in this conversation. So maybe not you guys, but what if we said we have to treat women like children? Will we be too off base?
Yes.
Because when your child does something, the parents are implicated, right? If a child goes off the rail, where were the parents, right? And then are children ever held completely responsible? Usually blamed on the parents. So in relationships, in the home, if something happens to the family, if the family's not doing well, if the family's on the street, it's always the men being implicated. So is there some correlation to women being more synonymous with children?
But I feel like the outside, yes, is gonna go with.
I think where you went with that last example was kind of off. Like, so you're speaking to like providing financially. So if you are acting as the head of household, then yeah, if y'all family in the street and you are acting as the head of household, that's on you.
Okay, that was one facet of the many different examples, right? Yeah, the children wouldn't be implicated, nor is the wife.
But yeah, if the children are seeing like emotional distress in the home, that falls on both people.
But I'm saying, like the examples I gave, right? That example doesn't go off. It furthers the point, right? It's assumed the man is the head of the household, and that if his family ends up on the street, it's on him, right? So that's the same point. Well, you said, right? If you're acting as head of household.
Yeah, so who's paying? If you paying all the bills.
But if you saw a family on the street, right? Are you saying that you're going to consider that it's the wife's fault? No. You're not going to instantly think, oh, the wife fucked this up. You're going to think
I'm different though. I'll probably look at it like the parents went wrong.
Well, now because you have an opportunity to think about it.
At the guy, if there's a woman with him.
Well, it's easy to say, right? But you just said you're acting as the head of household, so it's assumed that the man is in charge, and that's okay.
But you're talking about if I'm driving and I see some people at a fucking light versus like the scenario that you painted, where it's like if the family's out, and so like that's different.
Well, look at it. If you saw a family, but Q, come on now. It's easy to play that, but if you saw,
I'm dead serious. See, y'all think I be playing. I'm dead serious. If I seen a whole family at a light, I'm looking at both parents. I'm not looking at just the man.
That's fair. But as the head of household, the man is. So if you walk in a woman's house, if you walk in a married couple's house, they have children, and the house is a mess, who's implicated?
Usually we're gonna automatically think the woman. We are. Because she's the
So-
one that's supposed to take care of the house. That's
So
what
if
you
a family
assume.
ends up on the street, whose fault is it?
We're probably gonna look at the man.
Man, Q give me a headache.
So but you're talking about
We
the
are,
average.
'cause
But
we
you're talking
are.
about the average person, though. Like, if I know the layout of the home, you know what I'm saying? If I know, oh, dude takes care of her, then yeah, that's easy. But if I walk in the house, usually I'm gonna be like, they got a nasty ass house. I'm not saying just her. Look at that shit. He don't say nothing to her.
Because there's a
He don't
disconnect.
say nothing to the kids.
Yeah, there's a disconnect.
That's a them issue.
Yeah. I guess I understand what Q is saying because there's a disconnect. He should be able to say, okay, I'm going to go out and go get the bacon. And I would expect that you take care of the home, but they should be communicating that with each other. And
Or
if
who was
there's
home first? Because she
whoever,
could be working
yeah.
later, and then he came in and seen all that shit and didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
Your kids don't respect you.
So one person is stressed and then they can't. He's like, okay, I'm stressed because I'm coming to a house that look a mess. And so it's affecting how I handle things on the outside because I'm stressed as hell. Or maybe he's like, I want to stay out because I'm stressed. And now she's stressed because she's like, I'm stressing him. It could be a number of things. They're stressing each other. They're not communicating. So the balance is off.
Yeah, I don't have that. Like, oh, I'm automatically think, nah. If I know the family dynamic,
most people are automatically.
That's where my judgment's gonna come from.
Right, but so if you don't have no like preconceived like thoughts about certain things based off of the majority of things that you've seen. Do you literally like look at everything and think it like all the way through? So like with Hamp's thing, like if you just see a family on the side of the road and it's a man and a woman, you automatically go to it's both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And is that just like
because I said right here a few minutes ago, the woman chooses. So what type of, you know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna go all the way,
the goat in the house.
So we're gonna go right in time too. We need you tonight, Eddie, for this next topic. But yeah, if we're gonna go to,
Eddie got
Eddie taking orders while he on the podcast.
He ain't gonna be able to do it, man.
Yeah. So if we go to, the woman got with a man who she allowed to run the household, and that got ran into the ground. Yeah, you chose him. So that's both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who was making the bulk of the money.
I have to disagree because life happens. You think about the pandemic. The pandemic happened. Did a man expect that he was going to lose his job in the pandemic? No, he did not expect that. So you can't say that.
The pandemic didn't last for like 10 years. So you still have to hold somebody accountable because if there was no savings put in place.
Well, most people only have, I think it's less than 10% of Americans have 3 months worth of payments saved.
Right. And then look at all the money that went out to families too.
It wasn't, what you mean?
So you guys are saying the pandemic was the synonymous to the Great Depression?
It was.
So what was the stimulus?
That was federal funding, just like how you had ARPA funds.
So there was mad. So it was maybe I missed it. Maybe I was in the house. Were there mad families that were displaced and homeless and on the street because of the pandemic?
Yes.
I guess I missed it. I was in the house. So count me out of that part of the conversation.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Great Depression was the Great Depression, but that 2-year pandemic, because think about it, people were getting disqualified for having stimulus at, what was it, 100,000, 90,000? What was it?
75,000, I think.
75? You didn't get it? So, and if you have a house, your mortgage is 3 G's. I mean, that shit is over with quick.
So that's what I'm saying. I didn't see these large groups of families on the side of the road, homeless with children.
Because they're not all on the side of the road. Some of them are in shelters.
But I think with the pandemic, it exposed the haves and the have-nots more than anything. And I don't think people realize that. And although technically or whatever, it was 2 years.
Eddie, god damn.
That 2 years was able to shake up many lives for people. People lost their lives. You had people who have been in businesses who have been for years and years and years who were hanging by a thread, and then when the pandemic came, they had to shut down. They couldn't survive. So
Right.
if
So
no, go ahead, Q.
wouldn't that be situational though? Like we're asking about if a pandemic affected somebody outside of their control versus if we just saw a random family outside when the country's thriving.
But like I get where Hamp is coming from, because me, which I realize I've been doing a lot lately, judging. But with me, it's like I seen a pregnant girl like on the side of the street, and it was something with her car, whatever the case may be. The first thing I thought was where her nigga at. You get what I'm saying? Then there was another girl where she was asking me to borrow some money. She pregnant. Where your nigga at? Why you not asking your nigga? Like, so I can get like that standpoint of where people would be like, where's the man that's in your life at? And what is he doing?
Hey, listen. So I like all of the points. I love everybody's perspective, right? But just so like we're clear on everything, it's the man's fault. It's our fault. Period. If I'm responsible for my wife, I'm responsible for my kids. If they don't have what they need or we are homeless, that is 100% on me. Period. It's not on both of us. And that's what society and most people are going to assume. But I think it's also true.
But you heard I said that though, A+. I did. I said naturally we're gonna think that it's the man's fault. If the house itself is not taken care of, it would be assumed it's the woman's fault.
But it's true. And again, this doesn't. We always talk about probability and all of that stuff. So I get there may be a 2-3% chance of you may have a wife who just steals like everything or like, you know what I'm saying? But largely, I'm gonna give about 98.3% is the man's fault, and it should be that way. And that's how men should move, to where I need to make sure I'm providing what my family needs so that we're not put in those situations.
Well, to that point, is this divorce his fault?
No, because I can't control you leaving me. I can't control you walking away. What I can control in most cases is if we don't have somewhere to stay. Now, again, I get things where like a dude can get fired and like lose everything, but ultimately I should be building and providing security for my family. And
right, but what if that emotional part and that part that she was looking for is part of that security, is part of those needs?
I provide that too then.
Right. So then ultimately it would be his fault that the marriage broke down. So you're countering making the women's point. No,
I'm not, because at the end of the day, you still are choosing to leave because you are not getting what you want from me.
Did she communicate that to you?
Her that she's communicating that is a need of hers.
No, that's a want, because you not getting it doesn't mean you. And this is why I say it's a want, right? Because if you don't get it, all right, do you still have the option to stay in the marriage or not? Right. So if my wife is telling me, no, Adrian, I need you to tell me you love me, like I need it. And if I don't do it, does she still have the option to stay or go? So regardless of whether I give you what you asked for or not, you still have the option to stay or go.
So it's only monetary.
No,
you're only providing monetarily for.
No. I didn't say it was okay for me not to give her what she needs. Throughout a marriage and a relationship, I don't know who was making the point. I think it was you, Q, when you were talking like you come together, go apart, come together, how it can be like that. There's going to be seasons in which you may not get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you're in a season in which you're not getting what you want, that's not a reason to leave the marriage.
No, you separate and you take that time apart.
No, you don't have to separate either.
If it's not healthy, if it's not healthy, you do that.
So the only way that, and I'm just gonna say that it should be, period, right? I'm not gonna say no, this is the way it should be, period. The only way a woman should or a man should leave and it be okay is if it's dangerous to where like you literally about to die. He beating you or you beating him. And I think if people went into marriage with that standard, then they wouldn't rush into it. They wouldn't just rush into it. You see what I'm saying? Now you're gonna
they shouldn't leave if there's cheating. So stay if it's cheating though. If it's infidelity, because I noticed you missed that part.
So I'll say
because you decided to get married.
No. So this is what I'll say about that, right? If that's something that I think that's a reason to, but just because you can do something don't mean you always should. I know a lot of couples that while it's hard to work through infidelity, they have been able to do it. So in that situation, if it's cheating and y'all are in a monogamous marriage and one of y'all cheat and one wants to walk away, oh cool, you can. I still don't think that's always the best decision. The only thing that I could say 100% like boom, you could dip and you don't even got to look back at it cool is if this nigga beating you down or if she beating you down. And I think if everybody had that level of commitment to a marriage, people wouldn't rush to be married no more. You would know who you are getting with, right? You see what I'm saying? You would take the time to, is this a type of person that can give me the things that I need based off of how I see him interact in all his other relationships? How is this dude managing money? How is this dude taking care of the things that he is already responsible for? How does this dude treat his mom? Does this dude demonstrate emotional intelligence with other people around him?
So to Q's point, then you figured it out prior. So you figure out what your deal breakers are. Okay, is cheating part of that? The financial aspect, is it part of that? If you figure that part out, then you'll know. For some people, cheating may not be a deal breaker. It may be something where it's like we can work through it. The emotional piece, it may be we can work through that. I am a proponent of if it's not working, you take your little break, you take your time apart, you separate and figure it out. And then
what do you do? What do you do during that time?
Work on yourselves as individuals.
Because a lot of times you can get with somebody and that relationship will expose those weak areas. You know, that's what happens.
But if it's and truth be told, forget who decides to pull the plug first. When I look at it that way, sometimes it takes for someone to say, you know what, I'm gonna pull the plug, for the other partner to realize, damn, like I wasn't really happy. We might be better apart. Because if we, again, going back to the point that Mary said about men being one track mind, a lot of times and being hyper focused on that, they don't realize like, yo, like, don't you want to be happy? Don't you want more than contentment? Don't you want to have this? Don't you want to have that? And sometimes when people separate, you know, they need that time to separate to be like, do I feel better when I'm not with this person? Do I overall in general, and am I able to focus? And then going back to Mary's other point, with men being the one who ask, maybe men are not vetting women appropriately that they choose to ask. Are you vetting them appropriately? Is this really the person that if X, Y, and Z goes on, and if I change, as I change, will they stay? Y'all are the ones asking.
But do you
but
think
that you don't know until you get further involved in that, whether or not they're going to say.
But going over to the point of men thinking, okay, well, when I decide to ask you to marry me, are y'all thinking, I don't know, because I'm not a man, are you thinking of just the way that you are right now? Or are you coming from the place of thinking of what will it be like? How will our lives change when we have children? When life actually happens? And are you going to be handled? And do you know that individual as a person to say, like, is this something that she'd be able to, when certain situations arise, is she going to be here to weather the storm? Because remember, the man asks. You're asking me.
So is that something that they discussed prior then?
Everybody has a plan till they get punched in their mouth. So it's so easy to say, I'm going to plan. Let me vet this person. We're going to go to counseling. But when that shit really hitting the fan, people got to respond and react, and you'd be surprised.
Right. So when it doesn't work,
what I'm saying is it's unrealistic to assume that you can figure all that out before you get there. Right? Some people don't live together for an extended period of time. I mean, there's so many when kids come, you got postpartum that can happen. So there's a lot of uncontrollable variables. But for you to say, do I feel better if I step away from this person? Of course you do. But that's an acute thing. That's why that's an ill-advised process. And then no man can fathom another man touching his woman once she his woman. So all that separation, too many mistakes can happen that you really won't recover from.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, are you staying because you can't fathom your woman with another man, or are you staying because, listen, I'm willing to do things that you are asking me for because you need them? Like, for instance, back to what Adrian was saying, it's like, whose job is it to decide that it's a season? If that's what I feel and that's what I need you to do, who are you to tell me, oh, this is just me being in a mood, or this is just me in a season? People grow. I wouldn't want to be with anybody that does not grow. I don't want you to be the same person you are in 5 years that you are today. Like, I want you to grow. But if I'm telling you as I'm growing, hey, I need you to do this for me because it helps me emotionally, because now I'm more aware of my emotions, or I'm more aware of who I am. This is what I need from you. For you to be like, no, that's just not what I'm going to do because I haven't been doing that. Because a lot of times that's what it comes down to.
Who said that though, Mary?
No, because he basically was saying that if you decide to leave, you decide to leave. If I don't satisfy your season of what you want, I don't have to.
He said that was wrong also.
Blame on her for leaving.
I said that was wrong too.
He said that was wrong.
But you said you're still putting the blame on her for leaving. If you decide not to satisfy what you want,
she
leaving
still left, right? She still left, right?
She's still wrong, huh?
But she still left, right? For better, for worse, death do us part, sickness and health, right?
Yeah, so does this part not matters, right? So when you get married, you say, hey, I'm gonna be your husband for better or worse. But then when you see what the worst is like, you can leave then. So that's a lie that you will be with them for better or worse.
Yeah. And let me just also, Mary, men, all men feel like that, right? Yeah, they don't want another man talking to their woman, touching, none of that shit. If he says he doesn't care, he's a fucking liar.
Oh, I know.
I heard this this dude named Tate. He made this beautiful analogy. He said he drove one of his cars. I'll just phrase it. Let you guys answer. He drove one of he got like a Porsche. So I got a Porsche. I drive it to the club, right? I can lock it. I can make sure it doesn't start. You can't jimmy rig it, nothing, right? Alarm and everything. I walk off. 2 dudes go to break in my car. I know it's locked. I know they can't start it, right? Am I gonna not try to stop them from breaking in the car though?
Are you not gonna stop them?
Am I gonna try to stop them?
I would still try to stop somebody from getting my damn car.
You would, even though you know it will not start because this is a $200,000 car. You know that they can't get away with it. You're still gonna try to stop them, right?
Because of my car.
Yeah, exactly. That's how men feel about their women. We know she ain't going nowhere. She locked down. But we don't want nobody in her face, nobody touching her, and we will intervene. She don't get to protect herself. That's what I'm there for. It's the same. That's how men feel.
And let's do to the reverse side, right? Since we're saying all things is equal. If there are women who are communicating what they want in a marriage, and when they're not getting it, they're leaving. There are men who are not getting what they want in a marriage, but the men are not leaving.
Yeah.
That still don't mean they ain't going to get it.
Come on,
Mary. What did Q say earlier? What did Q say earlier? He could be fucking. She said use the word. She used the number 60 too. He could be fucking 60 other bitches. I'm paraphrasing or I'm quoting. He could fuck 60 other bitches, but if he wants you, he wants you. She said she gets it. Remember you talked about the lady in your hypothetical? Q said he might have had sex with a couple women here and there, but she stays because she gets it. So how the fuck did you give Mary a come on when you just said those two things?
Put him in the fucking bed.
Yeah, she said what the fuck she said, and that's what she meant. Shit.
Oh, you was just, huh?
She said what the fuck she said, and that's what she meant.
Everybody, listen. Everybody got their own view on cheating.
No.
So,
we don't give a fuck about that own view shit. Make a point.
It ain't a deal breaker, but
yeah, I don't think that I could put it like
mistakes in character.
Y'all could disagree with me if you want to. I think most men cheat. Okay. I think the only disadvantage there is not that they do it, because again, they're not as emotionally attached. I think what makes it deceptive is the fact that they're not upfront with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the act itself is like a natural inclination in my eyes, from what I've heard and what I, see. It's not.
Okay, I can agree
It's
with
not
that.
as deceptive as when women do it, because women get emotionally attached to the cheating.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right.
So
B, final thought on this topic, man.
Um,
Modern women champion the idea of marriage anymore.
Nope. Nope, not at all. They just want to sit back and play these games, and they want to use you and this and that, and this is why they in these fucked up positions today. How's
Do
that
you
working
marry?
out? No, I'm not.
Oh.
No, you married?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
But I ain't say that though.
That's why he said B.
You're right. You're right. I'm gonna shut up.
Thank you.
Nah, talk your shit, Miss Nay.
Oh man, listen, man. Interesting. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Fellas, it's on your shoulders. I don't give a fuck what they talking about. Know that. All right, let me get into the next topic. How y'all doing? Alex, you good?
I'm good. I promise.
This nigga, man, you got the easiest fucking job in the world, and you be so tired.
Hey, go ahead. I'm here. I'm here.
Golly, bro, y'all gotta stop having sex every night, man.
Oh my god,
y'all married, man.
Go ahead.
Man, start acting like married people. Oh yeah, Mary, she pre-pregnant?
Because she might be pregnant.
It's coming. I'm telling you.
Go ahead.
Yo, Mary, no, man. All them kids she got, she know, man. I'm telling
I'm
you.
awake.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. All right. Let me share this video real quick. I still got it up. Yeah. All right. Y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
People, they're looking for an explanation, and people say, well, as an artist, you don't have to give an explanation, but as a leader, you do. Yes, I think that's right. So the answer to why I wrote White Lives Matter on a shirt is because they do. It's the obvious thing.
Kanye West speaks out, defending his decision and to wear a White Lives Matter shirt during Paris Fashion Week.
I'm just extremely happy. Can you tell by my face?
The Grammy winner sparked controversy his presentation. And on Thursday, he doubled down on the messaging during a sit-down with Fox News' Tucker Carlson tonight.
I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and just brilliance.
The rapper also reveals what his dad, Ray West, had to say about the custom shirt, which right-wing pundit Candace Owens also wore. Black Lives Matter released their 990 IRS filing. They collected $80 million. Super frustrating when that's going to end. So,
my dad is an educated ex-Black Panther, and he put a text to me that he said, "White Lives Matter, ha 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 ha." And I said, I thought the shirt was a funny shirt. I thought the idea of me wearing it was funny. And I said, Dad, what do you think was funny? He said, just a Black man stating the obvious.
White Lives Matter has been...
All right, so just so you know, this phrase, it was banned on TikTok too, like White Lives Matter. It was considered a divisive phrase, racist, so on and so forth. So, do you guys know about this story, or do I need to keep going with the video?
Nah, you don't got to.
Yeah,
keep
I'm
going
somewhat
with it.
privy to it.
All right. So, what did this White Lives Matter shirt represent? What was the point?
Did you hear what Candace Owens had to say about it?
What'd she say?
First of all, Candace Owens is an asshole. She had to say about it is that white people basically are oppressed and that they matter. She said one of the hardest things in this country is being a straight white male because white men are being pushed into the box of being homosexual or some type of abnormal. So the white straight male is pretty much oppressed. And that is why they needed to emphasize that white lives matter.
Yeah, I think she said like black children or something like that. She said black children and then like white men or something like that.
Yes. Candace, she can hear me? Candace Owens is an asshole.
Okay. So was there any truth to her statement or you think she was reaching?
For her, yeah, no, she's always reaching. Did you ever hear the shit that she says?
Like what?
She's always reaching. She says she says shit that white people don't even say. Like it's some shit they say that I could be like, okay, I fuck with it. Like I could get where you're coming from. Who raised her?
I don't know. I don't disagree with all her points.
All right. Well, shit. I mean,
she made a good point about like sex education, how that increased the sexual activity in schools when they introduced sex ed.
But I'm saying specifically to this topic, her entire statement was asshole-ish. Like, no, I work, again, anecdotal experience. I work with straight white men. Nothing about them says I'm oppressed and I need for people to tell the world that white lives matter. Just saying.
What's your thoughts on it, B? This shirt represents.
When I first saw the shirt, I found that to be very controversial. Basically, due to the fact that what struggle do whites endure that blacks don't, where we would need to put the attention on white lives matter. They are sold houses at a cheaper rate. They have a higher wealth gap than the blacks. They're incarcerated. They get less sentences than us. So why are we championing white lives matter? I found that to be very controversial when that came out. Now, on the flip it, I look at who's wearing the shirt: Candace Owens and Kanye West. Now, we all know Kanye West, he does a lot of things for attention. So I was first like, well, maybe he's doing it for attention. But to say white lives matter, I feel like that's taking away from the movement of Black Lives Matter. And you have to know the reason why Black Lives Matter is the thing. I don't see to where white lives matter to where that should be the issue right now. I don't think we should be championing white lives matter. What are they going through that their struggle is so horrific or terrible than the black struggle? So why are we representing and saying white lives matter? I don't think it should be any representation of that in any way, shape, or form.
Question: I didn't hear an uprising when the Asian Lives Matter shirts came out. Why was that?
Well, I didn't even know they had an Asian. Well, I do recall that the Asians, they had this thing going on where they were getting abused and all this and all that. And Biden, he signed a bill with that. Now there are a lot of people that I'm friends on Facebook with and Twitter with as well. They spoke out on that.
Asian men are doing better than white men.
Okay, well, to answer your question, why there wasn't that big of an uproar, well, that I can't answer.
Well, I'm not just asking you. I'm just wondering.
Okay, gotcha.
So is there white men getting beaten and all other type of shit happening to them?
No, they're just coming out with these sex scandals.
Oh,
that's like the biggest thing now.
Well, what do you mean, Q? You like when
because I think that's the premise for when people have that slogan. Me personally, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I think that it was all created to create this divide within our country. So we all exist within this country. No, B, I gotta stand on this one. It's obvious that Black Lives Matter, but it became like a slogan, right? And then now it's like nobody else can use it. So to that point that Hamp's trying to make with the Asian lives, okay, let's say that it was created to say Black people are getting killed, So Black Lives Matter. Let's push that agenda. Let's put that in people's minds. Asian people were being abused. Asian lives matter. What the fuck is going on with white people in this country right now?
Right. Now,
Asian people are being
largely.
Go ahead.
So then, you know what I thought about when people say all lives matter? Why do they say that? And I was thinking maybe people say that because when you think about Martin Luther King, he said he wanted everybody to be equal. He wanted all of our lives to matter. It's just that all of our lives can't matter because Black lives don't matter at all. Right. I don't know. Maybe Kanye West is trolling, or maybe there's something behind what he did that was synonymous. So he's trying to say, okay, well, Black lives matter, so white lives matter too. I don't know, but maybe there was a reason behind why he did that. I don't know if that's what he was trying to impose. Like, okay, I feel like everybody matters, so I'm just gonna put this out there, and I'm trolling.
Right.
I agree with that, and I think somebody put a root on Kanye too, because he ain't been right since his mama passed.
Since Don's dead. I know.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Now, Q said something that I want to zone in on. You said you think it was created to
have a divide.
Yeah, to have a divide. Why would you say that? That's what I want to zone in. Why would you say you
because
think
it specifically says Black Lives Matter? There could have been anything else there, but there could have been anything else said in that time when all this shit was going on.
So
now you take it and you say the words Black Lives Matter, and then say nobody else can speak to that. When you really think about that, it comes back to, okay, so we're separating ourselves from the rest of society. That's what, how can I say? I want to make sure I say this right. I don't believe that a Black person came up with the slogan Black Lives Matter. But I think it does now when we adapt to it so much and we hold on to it so much. It makes it seem like we're the people being racist. Because we're holding on to it so hardly. Like, oh, only Black lives. Fuck you mean any other life. Fuck purple lives. Fuck red lives. Black lives matter. Like we gonna take that and hold on to it.
We're gonna push that our lives have value. I think that's what it is.
So I feel like you're taking it and you're misconstruing it. So what I believe is
construe. Like, you said construe.
Construe, right? I get the word mixed up.
I know what you mean.
So, are we saying other lives don't matter? I don't believe that's what we are saying when we say Black Lives Matter.
Who is we?
Like, you said what?
Who is we?
Is it Black people or society?
Come on, Nate. Come on, Miss Nate.
All right, society. I mean, y'all are trying. All right, listen. This is what I'm saying.
B. Watch this. Slow down.
Okay.
Don't let them dictate your pace.
Right. Thank you, Ham.
Yeah, you pace yourself. If they trying to go too fast to trip you up, slow it down.
Right. Slow. Nay and Q. Slow
Here's
down.
What you do.
I love you, B.
You answer
it's
the
like
we.
Q&A, like a Q&A. You know what I mean? Question and answer. Come on, B.
Yeah. So you answer the we, right? Because we do need clarification on who we is, and then you continue with your thought.
All right. So when I say we, that's meaning if I say Black Lives Matter, then someone was to come along and say, well, what you mean Black Lives Matter? Are you saying other lives don't matter? I don't think that we as a society, we as a people are saying other lives don't matter. However, how I view it is if Blacks have been at the bottom of several things for so long and we've been killed, we've been lynched, we've been murdered, we've been at the bottom in lots of categories. And now we're starting to stand up for ourselves and we say Black Lives Matter. We aren't saying other lives don't matter. We're just saying our lives matter and we need to be recognized for the issues that we're going through. Does that make sense? And what I'm saying, am I making sense?
Yes, because I kind of said something about that as far as like people saying all lives matter. They're saying all lives matter. They're not, but at the same time, they're not necessarily saying it's only our lives. But we're looking at it like, well, our lives don't have value as it is.
Until Black Lives Matter, and I think that's
and you can't say that because our lives already have no value. We want to have equality. That's what the goal is. If we look at Dr. Martin Luther King, he wanted everybody to have equality. Okay, so that's where it's all lives, but all of our lives can't matter because clearly our lives don't. So that's where the movement originated from. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
But,
so with everything you just said, what's wrong with saying Black Lives Matter? Why can the attention not be on us?
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying it. I think that people think that we're being divisive by saying that. To Q's point, we're being divisive by saying it's only our lives, like the life, but it's not.
All right, well then we're just being divisive. It is what it is.
Wait. So is it assumed that if you say Black Lives Matter, it's assumed that the others don't?
A lot of people think that. I've seen a lot of stuff. They think that that's what we mean when we say Black Lives Matter.
Well, what does white power mean?
Power to the white people.
I guess it's self-explanatory.
White people have power.
Yeah.
Top power.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kanye's trolling. And my thing is, the more people pay attention to this clown in a circus, the more attention he's going to continue to keep getting. Now,
what was the troll?
Him wearing the shirt, because he's just making an obvious statement. He has children that are Black and white. He has to care that white lives matter. So whoever put him up to actually even wearing the shirt, by all means, whatever. Kanye knows he's gonna get attention in everything that he does, everything that he posts, and I feel like that's just bait being thrown out there that everybody's latching on to.
You're right, but what did he bait us to think about?
To think that
have discussions like this.
To think like just what people originally thought about Black Lives Matter. That only Black Lives Matter. So now him wearing that shirt is going to derail people to believe that Kanye believes only white lives matter. Because initially when it came to the Black Lives Matter movement, the focus was the fact that, Black lives are not the only lives that matter. And that's why they came out with all lives matter. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like that was just trying to make it seem like, only white lives matter or white lives are the top priority. So, but again, to me, this is just bait.
But you said initially, Mary, you said it's an obvious statement. So white lives matter, duh, right? Does that make it? Does that also say
purple lives, yellow lives?
Well, hold on. Yeah, so that's your point. So then, why would your second point be only white lives matter?
No, if you just what I was saying is society is gonna put that focus on him as if he only believes that only white lives matter, and now white lives is a priority. Not that that's something that I believe. I'm just saying, just like how the society believed that when people were saying Black Lives Matter, only Black Lives Matter, him wearing that shirt is going to force people to believe that, he believes that only white lives matter.
But he's like the hip hop Obama, like how Obama basically didn't really do shit for Black people, but Kanye's like a hip hop version of that.
Yeah, Obama did a lot for the gays.
Hey.
You get somebody there to be put there for the Black vote, which I feel like a lot of people in the Democratic Party are for, not the Black.
Listen, them cops ran up in that man's house and disrespected him, and Obama sat there and drank beers with them. So it's like now we have this Black man who's going to show Black people how to act when it comes to white supremacy. And then now we have Kanye with this nigga's gonna show y'all how to act. He's just a hip hop version of it.
Have you ever heard Kanye like speak on things?
Yeah.
He's actually pretty intelligent, but yeah.
Well, he is a genius.
The content, not even how he speaks. The content of what he says. Did you see what he said about the Jews?
Mm-mm.
So he told them essentially like who the real Jews are, and everybody else is scared to say it except him. But he's calling it out as cap that they aren't.
Mm-hmm.
But he can say it because they canceled Nick Cannon and all that when he said it. So Kanye is not only going, against the people of the Caucasus Mountains, he's going against arguably the most powerful people of the Caucasus Mountains. And if you look at his interviews, it's not a coon interview.
But it's with regards to this particular t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be clear on that, because there are things that Kanye says that he's beyond most of our comprehension. With regards to this particular t-shirt, to me, it's synonymous to a hip hop version of Obama.
What if it was this? What if white lives matter? Matter is such a low bar. You ever think about that? When we say Black Lives Matter, it's such a low um uh accomplishment to just matter, right? What if it's kind of putting that in perspective, that all we want to do is matter?
And I wouldn't take that away, but he hasn't done an interview where he's clarified that. So the
Well,
message that's
he
being
said he made
sent
an
is not
obvious
that.
statement. It's not a profound thing, right? He said something that was obvious to Mary's point. And what if Black Lives Matter is too low of a bar for us?
I could smoke a bag of that him, but you know what? He didn't say that. And there's a bigger message that's being sent out. So yeah. But continue.
Well, because I read it just like you read it, and I saw the interviews, but I'm processing it because I seen the content of so many things he said.
Right.
Question, Alex: do Black lives even matter to Black people?
I should hope so. I would want that to be, but
But if you would drop down out of a spaceship,
no, I don't think it does. But I think what's so pivotal about Kanye and this White Lives Matter shirt, and to Mary's point, I do think the statement the obvious says that in this country, white lives are elite. They matter the absolute most, right? I think when white people see, just like when we say white power, I feel like white people are in a space now where they feel like, you know, we are going to be erased as a people here in this country, right? I think what's controversial when Kanye West says, especially on the shirt, it's controversial because Kanye West is always looking for the approval of white people. Kanye West plays the line of, oh, white people this, white people that. He's praising and worshiping these white designers and these white executives. And then when things don't go his way, it's, oh, this white woman, they try to keep this Black father away from their kids and this and the third. So I think that's where the controversy comes of Kanye West. Maybe if someone else wore it, I can maybe kind of understand it. I may want to hear the explanation behind it, but because Kanye West just does the most, I think whatever messaging he's trying to put out there, it gets lost in translation because of all of his other foolishness. He did this for shock factor.
Question: where did you get that from? Because have you ever seen the episode or the show with Sway? You don't have all the answers.
Yep.
So he's saying, I am Walt Disney. I am these people. And he doesn't just want a deal. He wants a seat up there with them. He wants to own it, right? But they have all the factories and so on and so forth. That's why he didn't take the Nike deal when he first got it. And he had to own the publishing and the creative rights before he got the Yeezys and all that. And then he left that and created his own thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what do y'all, I feel like it's clickbait and sound bites. But if you listen to what he's saying, I don't think it's that.
I think what Alex is saying is like she's heard him actually. So it's not like he's not actually said. And white people, like these have been his words.
But he did say George Bush hates Black people, remember?
Yeah. And then
he said that Trump is the greatest.
So so what Alex is speaking to, I think, is that which side are you on today, Kanye?
Well, hold on. Now, in terms of Trump, what was he speaking about? And what was untrue about what happened for Black people under Trump?
But to call him his daddy, it's I see where you're going with that, Hamp, because these are points that I've made in his defense as well. But I think speaking overall.
So why use that?
Speaking overall, it's the implication.
Why use that? Why use the Trump thing if you know what happened for Black people under Trump?
But it's the implication. We're talking about Kanye. It's the implication.
Are we not listening because we think something's wrong with him?
I feel like he was dismissed a lot.
Like something wrong with him. I mean, I ain't gonna hold you.
I feel like he does get dismissed a lot.
Yeah.
He gets dismissed because of his antics that go along. He does these things for shock value first, and then on the reverse, and then he'll try to come back around and say, well, I said it because of X, Y, and Z. And maybe he doesn't, maybe he's not the best communicator where he doesn't know how to provide context to why he does what he does. But when you go on these public platforms in this situation, I feel like, to Q's point when she was saying, I don't feel like he ever picks a side. I don't. And then when things don't go his way with the white people, then he wants to come over and getting sympathy from the black people. When he was making the comments about, oh, my black kids, I don't want to hear that shit because you chose to marry and have children with a white woman. I don't want to hear that shit. So then don't come back over here when they didn't let you into the birthday party or whatever situation was and trying to say black fathers this, black fathers that. And then at the same token, and then on the flip side, you're letting everyone know what school your children go to. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, don't black fathers go through that with black women? That's why when he said black fathers this, black fathers that, there was some credence. Oh, let me finish his last word. Wasn't there credence to it? If black fathers agreed that they've been put through that quite often?
Yes, but within this situation, he was trying to say these white women, these white people did this to me. You made the choice to be with these white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then don't now, because you're upset, then you want to go ahead and you want to weaponize her race. Don't do that, because it was fine and dandy when you married her. It was fine and dandy when you had 4 kids with her. Outside of that, the other women that you chose to be with outside of him were also white. So pick a side. It doesn't make sense. When I sit here and I think about the business of him with certain things, he was doing all that shitting and talking about Virgil and all this other stuff. And then when Virgil passes away, now it's I'm caping with Virgil. The white people did this. They didn't let him be creative. Now the things aren't going in his favor. Now it's fuck Adidas. It's fuck this. It's fuck that. I'm not disagreeing with how the business operates and what they're doing, because I do think, how they're monetizing off them in some aspects is some shit. But Kanye, you have to pick a side. And
maybe he can't pick a side because he knows that he does have biracial children. So that could be part of it too. He's like, okay, I have to be supportive of the white lives because my children are part white. I have to be supportive of the black lives because my children are part black. That could be part of it.
Well, based on his beliefs that he shared, he doesn't think that.
Yeah,
but I do have a question. One question, Q, just for Alex, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a firm believer you can't sleep white and talk black. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Q. And we gotta get Adrian in.
I'm saying it's like showing up to the black cookout wearing a White Lives Matter shirt without any more context other than saying I did it for Jesus. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wearing that shirt to the nigga cookout, I got to be able to explain my shirt. So that's kind of what he's doing. And I get it. It's genius because when you think about it from a business perspective, he's going to do that. He's going to get the attention and he could throw a shoe out tomorrow and it's going to sell easily.
Because he got us talking right now. We're on a podcast talking about everything that he does it. He does it.
He is a genius. I will give him that.
His marketing value.
Listen, what you say? I can smoke a bag of that. I can smoke a bag of that.
Do you think he needed to do this to sell his shoes?
Yes, because right now he not doing much with the music. Nobody.
No, shoes.
Oh, shoes?
I think that his shoes would sell, but I think they sell faster when you are more controversial.
Q, what if they sell out?
Yeah.
Regardless.
Well,
and he didn't release anything.
But that's something that we wouldn't know.
Well,
remember that interview that you're speaking to. He created a shoe that wasn't popping like that under Nike. So he knows what he needs to do in order to sell.
Make controversy.
You think Ye's the same person? You think he's the same person as 10 years ago?
No, I definitely.
Is he the same person?
I definitely think he's evolved.
Right?
Which it would tell him, if it tells him every time you've created controversy, you've been able to do this. Yeah, that's brilliant. Keep going with it.
Yeah.
What you think, Adrian?
First, I don't be doing all that politics stuff, but with the shirt thing, I'm like, it's a true statement. They matter. What's the big deal? I wasn't into the whole Black Lives Matter thing because it doesn't change anything. Like, it literally says nothing. Us running around saying Black Lives Matter. So why do we care so much about the slogan? It literally has done nothing to fix us or to help any black person's situation at all, period. So him wearing the shirt, could it be for what Q was saying, marketability, the controversy, because everybody is so divided on everything, people are going to take it some type of way, so let's give as little context as possible, let's just clip this, send this out there, they're going to come, boom, 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 money grab. Super smart. Could that be it? Could some of the reasons why, like when you look back at things that happened with him and Kim over the kids, you can be when you're a genius and you literally are smarter than the majority of the people around you, that's a real isolating place to be in. You know what I'm saying? It's a real lonely place to be in. And so it can be hard to manage your thoughts and feelings because you already have to do it just to communicate to so many different people and you're never understood. So just because he struggled in certain areas, now people are going to question everything he says when two things could be true, right? So like maybe when it comes to your kids or family or whatever, he could be struggling at times managing that so bad that at times it could possibly impact how he's speaking on something else, but then there's times that it can't. You know what I'm saying? So we really don't know everything that's going on with him or his motives behind it, but for the most part, none of it is that serious to me at all. In terms of the White Lives Matter shirt, like I said, because it literally did nothing for us at all. So they can have it.
Do you think we give him a pass?
Give him a pass for what?
I feel like people always say he's such a genius. He's so this, he's so that. He goes back and forth of making these controversial statements. And then we're like, nah, F Kanye, we're not fooling with him no more. And then he said something, quote unquote, profound. And people are like, yeah. And then he gets people rallied up behind him. But now we're in a situation where he's being canceled by a different demographic of people when he said the things about the Jewish people, right? And now people are canceling him. They took he had an upcoming interview on The Shop coming off. They took it down because he continued on with his statements about the Jews and so forth. So I feel like he's been given a pass so many times, and now I feel like he's at a place where he is just burning bridges left and right. And he may be smart in some aspects, but he doesn't know how to articulate himself. And I don't think he has someone on his team, or it doesn't appear to be, that can reel him back in to be like, you are a little bit too smart for your own good. Don't say nothing unless you know how to articulate it or whatever the case is. Because now he's just making an even bigger ass out of himself. Every time he turns around, it's something else.
You think he articulates poorly?
I do.
I can understand him. I think a lot of other people used to speak in riddles too. Jesus.
Oh yeah, Jesus spoke in parables. I don't think that Kanye it gets a pass. I think Kanye creates the pass. I think that what he wants, he creates, and so it's gonna come to him in that form. You know, as far as him, Kanye probably gonna drop a gospel album tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like he's that guy.
He already did, and
he's gonna be hated by one group of people, and then figure out a way to be loved by another group of people, so it keeps him relevant. So he's never completely disliked, and then say something like completely profound that makes sense to me and him, and the rest of the world is gonna be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And we're gonna be like, "Yo, did you hear what he just said?" So he's always kind of creating that balance. I think he creates his own pass. We don't give it to him.
I feel like everything he does is on purpose. Everything that he does is on purpose. There's nothing that makes him in line exactly how he wants it to. There's nothing that this man does is not because he's not in his right mind. Everything that he's doing is to accomplish exactly what he wants to accomplish.
Which is why I said, could it be that he's doing that because he's looking at the all lives matter aspect? So he's doing it with that premise behind him. Like, I want all lives to matter. So now I'm going to represent for the white lives matter. Then he going one day for the green lives, then the Spanish lives, then the purple lives. Yeah. It could be what he's doing. Like and that having all lives matter t-shirt in the end. When I think about Martin Luther King, that's what he wanted. He wanted all lives to be equal. But he's like, okay, so we keep talking about Black Lives Matter, so now I'm gonna put on a White Lives Matter shirt. I'm just saying that could be what he's doing.
I promised Q before y'all got on that I wasn't gonna do too much history and data, but Nate, you need to read Martin Luther King's last speech.
Which one?
The last
where
one.
he really
the last speech, okay.
for all people.
He started kind of retracting, and he said, "Well, excuse me." This was overheard, but from a reliable source, that he felt he led his people into a burning building. Right. And if you read the last speech, some of that he saw that he thought was helping us, he saw it wasn't. You know, because they started taking jobs out the neighborhoods that we would survive on. You know what I mean? The family demographic started to break down. We started to go into their schools, but we were treated like it was their schools, right? and our kids start to get diagnoses of ADHD for no reason, or for agenda-based reasons. So just be careful, because Martin, kind of ended differently than he started.
Well, to that point, Miss Nay, I think maybe Kanye might use that to his advantage. The very thing that you just said, where in that popular time, Martin Luther King was saying those things towards equality for Black people. I could see him taking an excerpt from that as well, because that speaks to the masses.
And you see how you equate him to Obama. What everybody keeps saying Obama was. He's like the modern day Martin Luther King.
Right.
Who?
Obama. You don't remember when they were doing it? Everybody was saying that. There was. I'm not saying that. I'm
the
just
people.
Saying
She's speaking some truth. That's the people. There's those of us who saw it differently, and then there's the people.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why every time they talk about the speech and they had the picture of Martin Luther King, they had Obama right next to it and saying it. So maybe that there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're not in the mind of the genius of Kanye.
Yeah, Black people don't give a shit about each other. You can tell. Because we voted for Obama blindly. Niggas get killed in the hood every day, all day. There ain't no marching for that. PNB Rock was dead and gone in a half a day. Right? But they run in Breonna Taylor house. And if you do the research and the backstory of that, right? When the cops came in there, that wasn't the wrong house. They had the wrong warrant. If you look at the cases and actually dig into them, right? They were involved in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Not saying she should have lost a lot, but I know people get it misconstrued, right? Not saying that. But they rented the wrong house and he was shooting back. That motherfucker was ready. He wasn't ready for no reason. Right? But we just take it and go, right?
Yeah.
Now there's some obviously George Floyd, we watched that with our own eyes. Sandra Bland, we still need to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, like, we be in real predicaments. You know what I mean? Did you see the boy in DC? Was it DC or Maryland? He was in the back of the police car. They caught him with drugs, but they like stopped real hard and didn't buckle him in, and he broke his neck. Yeah, he was in back of the paddy wagon, so they broke his neck. He paralyzed, right? But he wasn't in the police truck by accident. Of course, they should have buckled him in. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of cases that you wouldn't justify, but we've been in a lot of shit though, and we always in some shit.
Yeah, this is true. And to Adrian's point, just simply saying Black Lives Matter doesn't do anything to change any of that. Like,
yeah,
there, you know what I mean? If there's gonna be a change, it's got to be something greater. I just wish, if Kanye was gonna do that, pick another bitch other than Candace, though. Like, come on.
Oh, no, I kind of like Candace.
Yeah, I like Candace too.
Y'all some weirdos for that.
I mean, what she be saying it's not off bait. Like, what don't you like about it, or what rubs you the wrong way?
So what I said, do you guys think that white straight men are oppressed?
No.
They worried about the Me Too movement. They the reason why we have to Me Too. That maybe that's why they feel oppressed.
The allegations coming out.
But do they feel oppressed? Or to Adrian's point, is she not qualified to speak for white straight men because she's not a man?
Ain't she with a white man? I mean, a white man.
her man more oppressed than her. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Not so, but what I like about her though is that, like, a lot of her points and talks, she has like reasons why. So it's not just like emotional. You know what I'm saying? So if she says this, she'll say, well, this because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. Like, she will literally lay it out so you can understand it. And so while I may not always
asshole. Okay.
Just prepared.
Well, I may not always agree with everything she says 100%. And it make me think like, oh, she might possibly have a point. Because I know sometimes, and I know Q, you'll try to come off as if I just say these things and just be like this, but I'm always open to listening to other people say. So sometimes I am very open to changing my mind, and that is something that I'm always for. That's nothing that I will never deny.
You agreeable?
That's part of being human. Come on.
Am I agreeable?
You being agreeable at this moment?
I think I'm very agreeable.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Period. Like, I'm normally very agreeable.
That's why people don't understand the love is real between me and A plus. Like,
yeah,
they
I'm
think
very
it's some
agreeable.
kind of beef or something. Like, nah. We just
Question.
agree to disagree. Shit.
Question. Do you guys think Black Lives Matter did good for us? Like the actual organization?
It did nothing.
What
Like,
you think?
again, a lot of that was based around the LGBTQRSTUV community. For real.
Yeah.
What do you think, B?
I wouldn't say that it helped us as a whole. However, I do understand the concept behind it.
Which is what?
Well, you got to start somewhere. So they formulated the Black Lives Matter in an attempt to bring up the black people. I don't know. I mean, the exact words I'm looking for. I'm a little sick under the weather, but
Do you think it's because they thought that black people just attach ourselves to everything? I ain't gonna lie, with somebody that was like, Black Lives Matter. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. But you think it's because they feel like black people will attach ourselves to anything? To be honest, we will.
Well, Black Lives, if you look at the website, it doesn't even mention black men.
And the black one behind it was sitting there stealing money. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. So, B, you saying they started somewhere? They collected $80 million. What community was that poured into? Or are you saying you're just glad they started a slogan, or like what's the?
Well, I didn't know the $80 million thing. But what I was saying is I felt like they needed to start somewhere, so that's where they started. Now, in terms of stealing the money, if they created this organization to steal money and it was not poured into the black community, then that's an issue. And to start an organization and take funds from it, then that would defeat the purpose of starting the organization if you're going to do it for positivity.
It was a black woman that stole the funds. It came out. She was stealing the funds. She had a whole big party and mansions and everything. Like, she was using the funds for that. I thought about that because I saw a comment and somebody said, could that be why Kanye was wearing the White Lives Matter, so he could promote that, so he could take funds on the white people? I saw that comment.
You got to stop reading tabloids when you're waiting at the cash register.
When I saw that, though, I was like, well, that might be genius if he did do it.
Yeah, I think her name is Patrice Brothers or something. Patrice something. I forget her name. So, what do you think? Do you think that you in a nonprofit, Alex? Do you think that shit was valuable?
Love to talk about nonprofits. Cut it out.
Shit.
I don't know much about the actual organization itself, but I do know initially when the conversations of Black Lives Matter began during the pandemic, during the George Floyd time and everything like that, I definitely think it brought Black people back up to the forefront, and I think we were a little bit more united. But I think as time has progressed, we've kind of wavered off. We've gone back. It was like a fad. You know how things are trendy for the moment. It's the Me Too movement. It's the LGBTQI movement. And now it's the Black Lives Matter movement, the Karen movement. And now we've just kind of gone back to being complacent. I don't think it's ever going to progress forward in the way that we need to see change in the judicial system, the healthcare, or the school system if we are not united on one accord. And I do agree with you here. I don't think that Black Lives Matter to Black people as much as it should.
Yeah. What you think, Nay? You say you bought a shirt from them niggas?
No, I didn't buy a shirt, but I was on them. I was in them marches talking about Black Lives Matter. I'm not gonna lie. I probably I want to be a part of something. I felt like, okay, well, our lives matter. And like I said, Black people will attach ourselves to anything. I think I was looking at it from the political aspect, like, okay, I want to be supportive of my people, and that's really where it stemmed from. But now that I've kind of researched a little bit more, I'm like, what did they really do? Besides, it did bring awareness, yeah, but what did it really, really do? Nothing.
Yeah, I think Black people, we're really good at marketing and marching, but
oh yeah, we're the first ones.
We're
on the front line.
Yeah. And what Alex said, like we had it here and we just didn't create any policy, law. I mean, there's some stuff that did come to fruition, like the purge law. I don't know if y'all read about it in Illinois, but the purge law has a lot of pretty cool stuff in it, actually. They just called it the purge law, but it actually does a lot more. Like, for instance, resisting arrest in Illinois is not like if a cop's grabbing you and you yank away, that, you know, they say stop resisting. That's not a thing anymore in Illinois, because they know it's bullshit, especially if there's not like a violent crime. Like if you got a warrant and it's non-violent crime, they can't just keep you. Like they can't just arrest you. You know what I'm saying? If you walk off. And then also certain crimes, they have to give you bail for. They did away with bail system and they let you out now, because bail system only hurts the impoverished. If you got money, you can bail out. But if you don't got money, you sitting because you can't pay this $10,000, $5,000 bail. So it did away with a lot. Now, one of those is like second-degree murder, which people deem pretty severe. You know what I mean? That's where that controversy came from. But they ain't just letting people out. You know what I mean? But we had an opportunity to do this maybe all over.
Make it federal. So are you saying these are not federal laws? Because you just said Illinois. And I think I read something about New York too. Like, is it just those states? Like,
it was just Illinois that came out with this law that comes to fruition after January.
I feel like a lot of that too comes from just letting kind of the streets handle it in a way. Like,
yeah, we got lazy.
Yeah, like I feel like it's just like the government not gonna take over. Like, listen, somebody in the streets about to handle that, so we about to let him go. Like, I feel like that's where a lot of that comes from too.
What, in Illinois?
Well, that's where it's starting at. It is not to say it's not going to be everywhere else, but
so you're saying they're trying to? Okay, I think I know what you're trying to say.
He's taking them out. Like, if that's going to help control the population in the prisons, like.
So they basically they're saying we'll let you free and the streets will handle it for us.
Yeah,
that could possibly happen. Yeah.
No, it was saying that
that's what we've been doing.
That it's no, the bail system, who it affects is the reason why they're letting people out, because people were jailed for these crimes because they don't have money, while the rich don't care about the bail system because they can get out.
Like Rikers Island and Khalif Browder, that case.
Yeah, right.
Nobody like you. No, so what Hemp is saying, like, it only affects the bail. So if you do the crime, you can still be convicted and go to prison.
But you're not
so it's not like you can do whatever. It's just like we're not going to just hold you automatically just because you can't afford the bail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at how Illinois is, Chicago, whatever the case may be, like a lot of times, like if these suspects don't get caught, somebody else end up taking their ass out.
Well, you're talking about violence. This is like, so instance, in Illinois now, or in January, if you rob a store, the police not chasing you because it's too much, because people ain't taking that much stuff and all that stuff is insured. So people are getting hurt and killed over product. So they saying they not chasing people anymore for shit like that. If you call the house for men, I call the house, right? We having an argument. Unless somebody getting really hurt, they not just coming in there. Do you remember the boy who was I don't know best word. He was retarded, and his mom called because he
special
had
needs
a hammer or some shit.
Yeah, impaired.
Right, whatever. Right.
He's still retarded.
The police shot him dead because he came out of the house knowing the boy fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But in Illinois, it's not happening. The boy at the movie theater, remember?
Right.
Slammed him on his neck, right? Because he had Down syndrome. Stupid ass police killed them. They not doing shit like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? They not just intervening when it's unnecessary.
That's not true, because I don't know if you just heard, just recently in Bristol, Connecticut, 3 cops were injured.
Illinois.
No, well, I'm telling like that's not true. But
we talking about holy shit.
I'm just saying all over because you said
nay. We talking about the law in Illinois and what it prohibits the police from doing.
Oh, because you said that, I'm like, okay, are you talking about everywhere?
Why would you think that?
Because the way you said it was the way you phrased it, but Go ahead. Go off, fam.
I quit. Fuck it, I quit.
Listen,
Your wife.
isn't that something though that already was started in California?
No, we're talking about Illinois. Go ahead.
I'm like,
Where they weren't prosecuting for crimes in California.
I did hear that it was New York was looking into it because of places and reasons like Rikers Island, how like majority of the individuals that are there, they are being housed for years because a lot of them can't make bail. And to bring up the police matter situation again, his family couldn't afford the $400-$600 bail, so he sat in there for a year until he got a court date. And they were saying in like a lot of the prisons, or not the prisons, a lot of the jails, that's the situation with Black and brown people. They're getting picked up for small things. A lot of times they don't have representation or their families, to what Hamp was saying earlier. Most Americans do not have $400 in savings to be able to afford an unplanned expense. So I think with the purge law, we can't keep overpopulating these jails and these places for people who are just waiting on bail for minor situations. And I think other states are starting to look at that also.
Yeah. It also prohibits the use. The police can't get certain guns anymore either up there, so they can't get like certain military grade weapons and stuff like that. Those are no longer. They can't use them. Also, no more chokes.
Bold.
And then and then every single jurisdiction has to have a body camera. This shit I'm that law. It's like
I know
body
this
cameras be
Black Lives Matter, yo. Shout out to Black Lives Matter. Shout out to Black Lives Matter for getting the purge law started, man.
Baby, shit, man.
Are they a part of getting the body camera started though?
I think it was a catalyst. I'm sure. So I think DC was kind of spearheading that a little bit. And the camp out here, I went to a couple meetings. They were pretty active, you know. So maybe, you know, for sure, man. Oh, this shit crazy, man. Q, final thought on this. What you think, man? What's up with this shirt?
I think that you know, I think Kanye is a fucking genius, and I think that it's good for marketing. Other than that, fuck Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, all that shit matter, because they ain't doing a goddamn thing for Black people.
Fuck all them niggas, huh? Golly. Interesting, man. Interesting. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the channel, subscribe. Send it to your best friend. Tell that person to subscribe, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? All right, man. Y'all know the vibes. I don't fuck with Jerry Springer, but I do like one of his constructs. B. Final thought.
Women need to stop whining about not being happy. Get over your pity party. And everyone needs a friend like him.
Everybody need a friend like Tony Yayo.
Yayo real. Yayo real.
Mary.
So death do us part means so death do us part.
Yeah.
Adrian.
Yo, facts. Mary hit it on the head, yo. If you think about getting married, yo, hit me up. Yo, I'll give you a discount on some premarital classes. You know what I'm saying? To make sure y'all ready so that y'all prepared for what to expect going into this lifelong commitment that is not based on happiness.
Miss May.
Time and space is necessary, and Black people don't jump on the bandwagon for everything. Do your research.
Indeed. Q.
They using Kanye. I think somebody put a root on him. That's just my opinion. So y'all keep Kanye in prayer. We ain't canceling shit in 2022. So you know what I mean? Still make sure y'all fuck with Kanye, y'all get the sneakers, y'all listen to the music, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, marriage, I think, is a lifetime commitment. You know, if you're gonna get all your shit out, get it out in dating phases, if that's what you're starting with. And Yeah, fuck people's opinion and live and walk in your motherfucking truth.
Alex.
Although divorces are a sad thing, I do believe that you have to do what it is best for the union, for the family, for you, and if that means walking away, then do that. I still don't like Kanye West. I can't stand this nigga. I just need him to just stop with all of his antics. And I want Black Lives Matter to matter to Black people.
Yeah, man. I think the till death do us part thing gotta matter. For all you so-called Christians, just know that the Bible says only reason you can divorce is for adultery. And then look up what adultery is, because you may be surprised. I think we should need to listen to Kanye a little bit, right? We can't assume the boy's something wrong with him. And I think his messaging gets dismissed and we often stop listening. We only look at the clickbait. He gonna give you a lot of things to click on in 30-second excerpts, right? But listen to the entire thing. You'd be surprised at the substance that's there. Just imagine how many people were called crazy and senile that had made a lot of change in the world. I'm sure Malcolm, Martin, and Medgar Evers especially sounded ridiculous. Nobody believed that. But then it took a few to start walking to work, and they saw the impact of Black people, so-called. Think about Jesus. Think about Muhammad. Imagine how fucking crazy them niggas sounded. You know what I mean? Now, Muhammad was, but he couldn't read or write, but he was able to galvanize a whole lot of people into one of the largest religions in the world. You know, so don't dismiss people because they don't hear how it don't sound like you think it's supposed to. Listen to it.
So I'm a genius here.
Oh, this is my final. God damn it. This is my final thought. I was just leaned back on my chair. I was letting it flow. And you had one job, to be quiet. You know what? Fuck this show. Q. Lose my number, okay? Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We out.
I love y'all. That was a good show.
Damn, I'm not